Hello, I'm going to be reviewing the 2014 movie Leprechaun Origins, which is directed by Zach Levitsky. I don't know how to say his last name, so sorry. It stars Dylan Hornswoggle Polsto as the Leprechaun, Stephanie Bennett as Sophie, Andrew Dunbar as Ben, Melissa Roxburgh as Jenny, Brendan Fletcher as David, Gary Chalk as Hamish, and Teach Grant as Sean. The basic plot of this one is a group of four friends go backpacking across Ireland because one of them is writing a thesis paper on the town that in that on the town that they're visiting in Ireland. They go to a pub and they come across a local named Hamish, I don't know how to say his name correctly, who tells them about this path where these ancient ruins are at. So of course they want to visit it. So he drives them out to this cabin out in the middle of nowhere, and you find out eventually that he is actually leading them to their deaths because something happened in the past where I believe someone, like, it was a mining town before or something, and they were stealing a leprechaun's gold. So now the leprechaun's pissed off, and I think it's like every few years or whatever, they have to feed it, give it a sacrifice to appease it, and basically that's the plot of this movie. Now I know, like, when this first came out, a lot of people were expecting um a leprechaun movie like the leprechaun from the previous movies. Like, we were expecting, well, I know some people like this movie, so I'm not gonna exclude everyone. But most people who saw this movie was expecting the comedic leprechaun that by like Warwick Davis, but we knew it wasn't Warwick Davis. It was Dylan Hornswoggle, and I don't watch wrestling. I've never been a fan of wrestling, so I was kind of unsure how the hell he would play the leprechaun, because I don't know. I just can't imagine a wrestler being funny. And I'm not trying to be rude or anything. That's not what I imagine. Now I know, like, The Rock does some decent movies, but anyways, but as most people know, that the leprechaun in this movie is like a feral creature and not the jokey leprechaun that we known from the rest of the franchise. It looks like a monster and not like a typical leprechaun, I guess. But when I first saw this, I hated this movie. I was kind of apprehensive at first before I saw it because of WWE pictures, because I do not like most of the movies they released, horror wise. But anyways, yeah, first time I only watched this movie once, and this is my second time rewatching it. First time, like I said, I hated it, but this time around, I kind of enjoyed it. Now, I do not consider this part of the Leprechaun franchise, or shoot, part of the Leprechaun franchise. I kind of view it as its own movie, and like, if you go into this movie, just kind of have that in mind that it's a creature feature flick, and not of the Leprechaun movies that you've known previously. And yes, it is part of the franchise, but me personally, I do not consider it part of the franchise. So, I should get into the acting. The acting was pretty damn good for a low budget horror movie. I Now they're kind of like stereotypical. The characters are kind of like stereotypical, not not slasher victims, because it's not a slasher, but like horror movie cliche characters, I guess. Like Brendan Fletcher, you may know him. He was in Freddy vs. Jason. He played Jason Ritter's friend in that movie. But he kind of plays like this douchebag in this movie. And later on, he kind of progresses when he gets injured and becomes more helpful to his group of friends. And he actually makes a self-sacrifice to save them. The woman that plays his girlfriend, Stephanie Bennett, her name is Sophie in the movie. She's kind of like the typical damsel in distress. Like, all she does is whine and cry, and just that's all she basically does through most. And I know she gets messed up a few times by the leprechaun because it like pulls her earring out and her tongue ring, but she does hold her own sometimes and help in the group. But she leaves her boyfriend behind, and when he's injured, he's having trouble running. She leaves him behind, and then, but yeah, she was kind of annoying, but not that bad. She's not like the typical woman in horror movies where they just run around screaming and just falling down and shit. Um, Andrew Dunbar, who plays Ben, he's kind of like the typical snobbish, preppy, I'm better and smarter than you boyfriend, and and also just one of those type of friends in the group. And I didn't like him at first. I think he's the only one I really don't like in this movie. He, like, when they go down into the basement after they run away from the leprechaun, they're looking through these books, and the girl's like, his girlfriend is saying that the thing after them is a leprechaun, and the two other friends, or Jenny and David, they both jumped on it. They're like, yeah, tell us what's going on, how to defeat it. And Ben's like, oh, do you actually believe this crap? And he's like, that's ridiculous. And I'm like, man, you were getting chased by that thing. You couldn't tell. The leprechaun that was chasing you looked like the thing in the book, the illustration in the book. So you cannot accept that. Yeah, he is like, ugh. At least he gets a pretty cool death. And then, Stephanie Bennett plays not Sophie, damn. Yeah, Sophie. She's kind of like the typical final girl in the movie. You know, she's the very good, she's the one that knows a lot of the information about the leprechaun and all that. And she's more of the kind-hearted one, and she's easily susceptible to believing in this stuff. And like I was saying, like when Brendan Fletcher's character, he gets bit by the leprechaun, so he's injured and they're trying to run away. She's the only one that goes back and saves him. So yeah, she's the typical final girl, and she's the only one that I could really relate to in the movie. But the one actor I did enjoy in this was Gary Chalk, who plays Hamish or Hamash, or however you say it. Um, he's he's the one, he's the local that brings them to that cabin, and he has to play off as the nice, kind, local that's lead them to their death, but he's hiding the secret, and then a dark secret, and then later on he has to flip and become the sinister type of character where his whole mission is to get these friends back to get killed by this leprechaun. And I thought he did a really good job. He kind of reminded me a little bit of the well, how he dressed at least, of the killer from Wolf Creek. And then Teach Grant, who plays Sean, who is Hamish or Hamash's son. He's the typical, like, he's conflicted about what he's doing, because he doesn't want to trick these people into getting killed, but he kind of has to because to appease his dad. And he was pretty decent in this one. He was pretty decent, I mean. Now, another thing I liked about this movie was the landscape. It has some nice cinematography in this movie. I mean, there's not much set-wise. It's mainly just a pub and a few houses that they run around in the forest. But the forest shots and the fields and the shots of the rolling green fields and all that is uh, very beautiful and very green and lush. And I really enjoy that. I don't know if they filmed in Ireland or they filmed in another country. I should have looked that up before. But yeah, it looked really nice on film. And even like some shots with the headstones and the runes and all that. There's like this one shot of like an angel statue in a cemetery that looked really good. Like it had like black coming from its eyes, like it was like blood coming from its eyes. I don't know. I just like shit like that. Alright. Now, the creature, the leprechaun creature. I'm not a fan of it. Like performance wise and how it looks. Like its face I guess looks okay. It kinda looks like a creature from The Descent, and like its body's like all crumpled up like this. And like the thing that bothered me was like the close up of the legs. Like it got like these little shriveled up legs. And it shows like close ups of its legs when it's running around. And it just looked really bad to me. It just looked like they it just looked bad. Like they put fake legs on someone, and they're running around, and it just looks it's like flopping and stuff. It just looked bad to me. Now you don't really see the leprechaun in action either. Like it's mainly kept in the dark, and I'm not sure why. Maybe they just didn't want to show the creature that much to keep it, mysterious and scary. But like you just see it running around and stuff. You don't really see it kill people. Most of the kills are off screen. At least the ones the leprechaun commits. Like this is not a kill, but he pulls like an earring out of someone's ear and a ring out someone's tongue. But it's not gory, like excessively gory. It doesn't need to be. But Brendan Fletcher, he gets bit on the leg, but you don't really see it. You see like the aftermath, and then he kills Brendan Fletcher, and you don't really see it because it's like, and because the leprechaun in this has like this heat vision, kind of like the Predator does, that's fine. But like when he's killing Brendan Fletcher's character, it kind of like cuts to that, and then like to black, and you can't see what the hell's going on. Now, one kill you do see by it is with Ben, when Sophie and Ben run into this house and they're hiding from it. The leprechaun that comes in there gets a hold of Ben and rips his spine out, and you see that kill. The only other kill you see that's on screen, and it wasn't even by the leprechaun, is this girl, the one girl, Jenny, because they make up this plan that how to capture the leprechaun and kill it, is that they have one person standing outside and to open the door to like, because the leprechaun comes like into a doorway through the chimney. So they had the Jenny girl standing outside, and they said when it comes, open it, and then Ben and Sophie have like axes, and when it comes in, they're gonna kill it with that. Well, she opens the door, and I don't know what happens, but the leprechaun throws Jenny in there, and Ben and Sophie, kill, bring the axes down, and they hit her, and it's Jenny, and she gets split down the face with an axe. And that, you see that kill, but it wasn't by the leprechaun. But that was a pretty gruesome kill. Yeah. I don't know really much what more to say about this movie. Like I said, I didn't like it when I first saw it, and it's mainly because I was blinded by the hatred for it, because I was expecting the typical Leprechaun movies that we had before, and it was something completely different, and it just made me not enjoy the movie. This time around, because I know what it is, and I haven't seen it in so many years, I accept it that it's its own, I consider it its own thing. Now, it is connected to the Leprechaun universe, because at the end, when Sophie is escaping from it, it comes to her, and before she cuts the thing's head off, which I forgot to mention, yeah, that's another kill scene. You see that? It's a decapitation. It's very gory and stuff. She says, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms," and that's how you could tell it was related to the franchise. And plus, the Leprechaun's obsessed with this gold too. But anyways, oh, I was saying, I would recommend it, but watch it as its own thing, and not try to connect it to the other Leprechaun movies, and you'll probably like it a little bit better. But anyways, that's my review.